My Hexblade wants a sentient weapon at level 1. Hey y'all, so I'm running a campaign soon and have been talking with one of my players about a warlock character concept. He wants to be an ordinary guy whose village gets raided, and during the raid he stumbles across a sentient weapon. He makes a pact with the weapon to gain power and fend off the raiders in exchange for helping the weapon regain its power. The way he described it was sort of like King Arthur, only Excalibur is alive and my guy doesn't become king afterwards. I really like the character concept and the direction he plans on taking it, but I don't know how broken having a sentient weapon would be at such an early level. I already plan on having the weapon evolve as the campaign goes on. I imagine it'd start as a standard longsword, then proceed to a +1, +2, etc., but I don't know when I should do it or how strong I should make the sword. And, mechanics aside, the character would basically have a permanent NPC following them around, which I don't know how to feel about. I also don't plan on giving him any magical weapons, and letting the rest of the party have first pick of the loot. Have any of you dealt with this situation? How did you deal with it? I do legitimately like the idea he has for the character. He plans on multiclassing into Paladin to showcase his growth from cowardly village boy to brave knight. I just don't know if having a sentient weapon that early is a good idea balance-wise. I think he'll be fine. This is not that far off from a regular Hexblade, except instead of finding new, stronger weapons to bind to, they will have the same sword for the whole campaign that gets stronger as they do, which I think pretty much accomplished the same thing. I've given my players sentient items early on before, and it went great. Simply being sentient doesn't mean the weapon is going to hit as hard as an artifact. Now, you're right in thinking that this will pretty much be like an NPC that is permanently with the party, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. NPC followers are fine, as long as they don't overshadow the party. But a word of caution, if your players do have permanent access to an NPC, they can start to treat them as an Ask the DM button. I have two suggestions to avoid this. The first is to give the NPC, or in this case the sword, a very narrow area of expertise, but make them rather clueless about everything else. This means they will be very helpful now and then, but most of the time, not so much. Another thing you can do, and this is echoing Colville's NPC follower advice, is to give them a very obvious flaw that your players are acutely aware of. If the sword is blood hungry and always wants to fight, or is cowardly and always wants to run, your players will very quickly learn to not trust its judgment in battle. There is a very nifty set of tables in Minsk Inbu's Journal of Villainy for rolling sentient items, but if you don't have access to that, I would just design the sword as both an NPC and a magic item. I love the idea of the sword evolving and unlocking new powers as the character grows. So come up with some additional effects to give it as it works its way up through the item rarities. As far as power level goes, you can follow the power level by rarity table in the DMG.